everybody, I'm Mia and today I'll be doing the mid-year book freakout tag. That is a mouthful. Basically there are 14 or 15 or 13 questions I think, and I'll be answering them, and it's all to do with like being halfway through the year, and this is a classic around the BookTube community. I've been watching BookTube for maybe a year now, and I've seen the last year's ones, and I've seen some of this year's ones, and it just looks so much fun and easy, and let's do it. So question 1 is the best book you've read so far in 2020. There have been so many good books. I've given so many books 5 stars. I think I need to stop being so nice to books, honestly, but they are incredible. So I can't just pick one for this question, I have to pick 3. And those 3 are The Lost Hero by Riordan, Catching Fire by Suzanne and Queen of Shadows by Sarah J. Maas. These books are incredible. All 5 stars. Love them so much. They're all part of a series. So The Lost Hero is the first book in the sequel series to Percy Jackson. The series is called Heroes of Olympus. I've read the first book and I've also read the second book called The Son of Neptune, but I have preferred the first book. We are introduced to 3 new demigods, Jason, Piper and Leo. It's so great, loved it a lot. Catching Fire, as you will probably know, is the sequel to The Hunger Games. Unpopular opinion, I preferred this one over The Hunger Games. I don't know, at the start I was kind of like, The Hunger Games doesn't need a sequel, but how I was so wrong. Incredible book, loved it so much. And then we have Queen of Shadows, which is the 4th book in the Throne of Glass series, and I've read up to this one and to the next one, which is Empire of Storms. This book was amazing. Best book in the series in my opinion. Don't come at me, I know lots of my friends prefer the Empire of Storms, but I found it really boring, but I found this one very fun-filled, and I love the new character relationships in it, and just amazing. So, question 2 is the best sequel so far in 2020. Well, all of those were sequels, so I'm gonna pick a... Actually no, the Lost Hero wasn't a sequel, but I'm just gonna pick a different one. I'd probably go for The Son of Neptune by Riordan, the sequel to The Lost Hero, which I just mentioned. In here, we meet 2 new demigods, Hazel and Frank, and Percy's with them, and then we see their journey. And I love how it's so different from The Lost Hero, but also so similar. Like, it's in a completely different setting, and 5 stars, amazing. Question 3 is a new release that you want to read but haven't read yet, and that would of course be A Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes by Suzanne. Obviously I have to read the whole Hunger Games series first. I haven't read Mockingjay yet, but I'm hoping to fit it into my July TBR, maybe. We'll see if that happens. But I believe the prequel focuses on the 10th Hunger Games, and we follow the perspective of President Snow. So that's going to be interesting. So far I haven't really seen much of him. He wasn't in the first book at all, and then in the second book, Catching Fire, he was in there a little bit. He seems like a bit of a not very nice person, but I think it's going to be fun to see what he was like when he was young. Question 4 is the most anticipated release for the rest of the year, and for me that is the next book by Cassandra Clare that is coming out, which is The Lost Book of the White, the sequel to The Red Scrolls of Magic. The Red Scrolls of Magic, it was okay. It wasn't like the best book ever. It was still 5 stars, mind you, but like compared to Cassandra Clare's other books, it wasn't the best book ever. The series kind of seems unneeded to me, but I'm always for more Cassandra Clare books. In this book, we follow Magnus and Alec, who are going on their first vacation together. Magnus is accused of starting a demon cult, so then they have to figure out who actually started it and why is he being blamed for it. And then the sequel is following them still, I assume. I think they have to try and find the Lost Book of the White, which has been stolen. perhaps, or something like that. Book 5 is the biggest disappointment of this year. I haven't really been disappointed. Not really. All the books that I didn't really like, I kind of thought that I wouldn't like at the start, if you know what I mean. But, there's kind of one which I thought was going to be okay, and then it was just not. And that was Will Grayson by John Green and David Levithan. John Green's other works are amazing. They are chef's kiss. Love them so much. My favourite was probably Paper Towns or Looking for Alaska. I love those two. And then when I saw he wrote this one, I was anxious to pick it up, but I really didn't like it. I didn't hate it, it was just really boring, I found. The funniest page was the first page, so if the funniest page is the first page, then it's going downhill from there. I think I gave this one 3 stars, but now I'm thinking about it, it might have been 2, maybe. I'm feeling I'm being too nice with the stars. But yeah, biggest disappointment was Will Grayson. Biggest surprise of this year. And that would of course have to be Twilight by Stephanie Meyer. Did not think I was going to like this book at all, but you know, I did. I gave it 4 stars. It was much better than I was expecting. Like a lot better. One of my friends likes Twilight. One. Brie, if you're watching this, that's you. And no one else does, or they just don't really have an opinion on it. But I read it to see what I thought of it, and I didn't think it was horrible, so there's that, you know? Yeah, solid. A best book from a new to you author. That would be Becoming Jin by Laurie Goldstein. This book was very roller coaster like. I hated it at the start, I wanted to stop, and then in the middle I thought it was okay, and then towards the end I thought it was quite good because of this major plot twist that happened. I think this is possibly Laurie Goldstein's debut. I'm not sure. And it's part of a series, and there's a sequel and there's like a prequel. I want to read them. At the start I just wanted to put the book down and not continue, but I stuck it out, and the major plot twist was what it needed to get it up to 4 stars, so we'll definitely be reading more of Laurie Goldstein. The newest fictional crush. So at the moment I'm currently reading Chain of Gold. It's over there. I can't really be bothered to go and get it, but definitely James Herondale, because I love I love different eye colours like green and gold. They just, love it. So James, and he gets bullied so much in a story from Tales from the Shadowhunter Academy. He gets bullied. I'm like, I'm so sad. For his he has this unique ability to change into a shadow, and I'm like, he doesn't deserve it. But you know, I love him. He's great. Newest favourite character. Well, I mean, who would I be if I didn't say Katniss Everdeen from the Hunger Games? She is awesome. Like, what other words can I even use to describe Katniss? She basically sacrificed herself to be killed in the place of her sister. She takes risks for others. She is a skilled hunter and archer, and she's just amazing. So question number 10 is a book that made you cry. So most recently I read Heartstopper Volume 1, but I had to return it, so I don't have it anymore for my school library. So that, I don't think I actually cried, but I was very close to crying in like the whole thing, and it was so cute. Question 11 is the opposite, a book that made you happy. So many of the books I've read made me happy, but most recently, one that I haven't mentioned is probably Wonder by R.J. Palacio. It is the most adorable story ever of August Pullman, who has a condition that his face doesn't look exactly as you'd imagine a child of 10's face to look. And it's like such a serious topic, but told in such a light-hearted way. And it was told in such a cute way, and it just made me really happy. Question 12 is the most beautiful book you've bought in 2020. I felt like I probably had to show you it this time, and that is, of course, Chain of Gold. Like, how is this not the most beautiful book you've ever seen? Like, I just love the autumnal colours with the foiled lettering. It's beautiful, and the story inside is just as beautiful. I am this far through, up to page 488, and I'm hoping to finish it today, but we'll see how that goes. So beautiful. And the cover reveal for the sequel is coming 1st of July, I think, so very excited for that. Question 13 is, what books do you need to read by the end of the year? So I don't really need to read any books because at school we don't really read books, just like for study. We don't really do that. So any books I need to read, I need to get my Goodreads goal, which is 33 maybe? I'm not sure. I didn't start at the start of the year, I started like in April, so I adjusted my goal a bit. So I think it's at 33 and I think I have 15 possibly. I can't really remember, but I need to read that many. And the book that I really want to read, as I mentioned earlier, is The Lost Book of the White. Oh, I think I mentioned in my last video that I want to read Forest of Souls. That looks really good as well, by Laurie M. Lee, I believe. And then question 14 is kind of a not so great question, but it's your favourite book creator, and just so many book creators that I love. If you like your videos, if I comment on your videos, if I watch your videos, then you are one of my favourites. But I will say that the first book creator I ever made friends with was Charlotte from Charlotte's Reads. That was the mid-year book freakout tag. Thank you to each and every one of you for watching this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Please subscribe if you love my content.